So today, we're logging into the massive, complex, and, well, often pretty dangerous worlds of online gaming. We're going to peel back the curtain and look at the hidden threats, the stuff that goes way beyond just friendly rivalries, and explore the real-world security challenges that are lurking just beneath the surface.
Okay, so to start, I want you to just imagine something. Picture a digital metropolis, right? A sprawling city that literally never sleeps, and it's populated by millions of people from all over the globe. But here's the kicker. This world is persistent. That means it keeps on living and evolving even when you log off. It's got these bustling economies where real value is being traded. It has complex social structures, guilds, its own unwritten laws. It's really less of a game and more of a society. And that, right there, is the big question we're tackling today. When these digital worlds get so complex, so valuable, what happens when real-world problems like crime, fraud, and harassment follow us right through the screen?
So, to really get a handle on the risks, first we need to understand what makes these games so different from anything that came before them. And it's not just about the graphics or the story, it's about the very architecture of these worlds.
The official term you'll hear is MMOG, which stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Game. And honestly, the name says it all. We're talking thousands of people, all together, sharing one single continuous world. Games like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV, they aren't just played, they're inhabited.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Think about a regular online match, right? Maybe you've got 50 players, and the whole thing resets after 20 minutes. But in an MMOG, you have thousands of people in a world that never resets. That sword you spent a week earning is still there tomorrow. And that persistence, well, that's what creates real value. And, of course, real targets.
And yeah, this chart, this shows you exactly why this matters so much. We are not talking about pocket change here. This is a nearly $60 billion industry. When you have that much real-world money tangled up in these virtual economies, the incentive for criminal activity becomes absolutely enormous.
All right, so where are the weak points? The first major threat is kind of what you'd expect, a direct assault on the system itself. Just crashing the gates from the outside to bring the entire world to its knees.
And this isn't just some theory, by the way. This is a real notice from the folks behind Final Fantasy XIV. A DDoS, or Distributed Denial of Service attack, it's basically a massive digital traffic jam. Attackers just flood the game servers with so much junk data that nobody, no legitimate players, can get through. For you, the player, it's just incredibly frustrating. 1 minute you're deep in a quest, and the next, poof, you're kicked out and you can't log back in. The entire world for you and thousands of other people just vanishes. These attacks can cripple a game for hours, sometimes even days. But, it's not always about smashing the gates from the outside. Sometimes the biggest, most damaging threats, they come from within, by finding and exploiting the very rules that hold the game's economy together. Okay, check this out. This is a classic. It's a super elegant and, well, destructive exploit that's all based on a simple timing flaw. By logging out at the exact right microsecond, a player could trick the server. See, it would register the item on the ground, but it would fail to notice that it ever left the player's inventory. Suddenly, you have two of a priceless item. If you do this enough, you can literally print money out of thin air and single-handedly destroy the entire in-game economy. And this stuff gives rise to a full-blown shadow economy. You have so-called gold farmers who are just using bots to grind for currency 24/7. This virtual cash then gets laundered and sold for real money on third-party sites, which often crosses into seriously illegal territory. It's a sophisticated, gray market business operating right inside our favorite games. Okay, so crashing systems and breaking economies, that's bad. But the most disturbing threats are often the ones that target the players themselves, exploiting human trust and emotion. The human element. Because these worlds are social spaces, right? They're also susceptible to all kinds of antisocial behavior. This can range from simple stuff like griefing and harassment, all the way to organized campaigns of malicious reporting, where groups of players will actually conspire to get an innocent person banned from the game they love. And this is where things get truly dark. The anonymity of the internet can empower predators. You have so-called social engineers who manipulate other players into giving up their account details. But in the most sinister cases, these games become hunting grounds for grooming,
where predators build trust with younger players to exploit them. It can and does lead to real-world stalking. It's a sobering reminder that there's a real vulnerable person behind every single avatar. So, with all these threats looming, how do the game developers even begin to fight back? Well, the answer is that it's a constant, evolving battle that's being waged on multiple fronts all at once. So developers come at this with a multi-layered arsenal. The first line is technical, digital locks and alarms like encryption to just make the game itself harder to break. Then you've got the human element, in-game moderators or game masters, who acts like a digital police force investigating and banning the bad guys. But just as important, they empower the community to report bad behavior, making players like you and me a crucial part of the defense. But here's the thing, for every fix a developer releases, you can bet there are 100 exploiters out there trying to find a new loophole. It's a relentless cat and mouse game. Security in an online world, it isn't a wall you build once. It's a border you have to patrol constantly. And all of this leads to one final massive question. As these virtual worlds become less like games and more like real societies, places where we socialize, invest our time, and live out parts of our lives, who is ultimately responsible for our safety? Is it the companies, the players themselves, or are our real-world laws finally going to catch up?